live from Detroit, Michigan. This is the Honestly Sis podcast, Activation Edition. Hey. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever this podcast may find you. I hope that it finds you in great spirits. I am the captain of this here Honest Society, and today I am here for a activation episode all about codependency. Our episode last week, I spoke about how I realized I was very codependent in relationships. I always went into relationships looking for them to, to define me, to complete me. And it really took me finding my ex for me to realize that love is just simply not enough and that love is never going to feel that hole in your being. Like you really have to do that for yourself. And so this week we're going to go into the ethers. We're going to channel some spiritual guidance all about how we can heal codependency, what we can do as a community and what we can do as an individual. My name is Honest Am. I am the creator and writer of the Honestly Sis newsletter. I use God and cusses in the same sentence. And when I am speaking, if I am not, sharing a resource that I found online, I'm speaking from my own personal experience. The best way to support the podcast is to, of course, join our mailing list. By joining our mailing list, you will be able to get exclusive content. You'll be able to know where I'm going live. The other way to support this podcast is, of course, to make sure that you are subscribed. You can rate and review the podcast, 5 stars only. That just helps people further find the information. And then last but not least is joining us on our Honestly Sis YouTube channel. This is where we actually go live, as well as where I post daily shorts, as well as have a community tab where we can keep in contact as well. And so those are the best ways to support. I truly believe that word of mouth is the best thing and the best way to spread the news about something like this. And so if you get anything from this episode, please try to think about supporting this podcast and myself in that way. Last thing I would like to say is that I also have tarot readings on I'm on my website, www.honestlysis.com. There you can book a reading. We have all type of tiers, and that way, if there's anything that comes up in this reading, we can get that individual guidance for you, okay? Because remember, this is a collective reading, all right? All right, I have spoken enough, so we are going to take a deep breath. No matter where you are, I want you to just try to center yourself. If you are driving and you don't have the capability to close your eyes, maybe just planting your hands firmly on the wheel and just taking a deep, intentional inhale in through your nose and out your mouth with a sigh. Take another inhale in through your nose and out your mouth with a sigh. Take another inhale in through the nose and out the mouth with a sigh. Take one final inhale in through your nose, out to your mouth with a sigh. Welcome back, friends. Welcome if you are new here. Honestly, Sis is a safe space where we normalize the spiritual journey and we give you tools to help you become the alchemist of your life. And so I am going back to the text of All About Love, and the quote that I want to read to you today goes as follows. Love heals. When we are wounded in the place where we would know love, it is difficult to imagine that love really has the power to change everything. No matter what has happened in our past, when we open our hearts to love, we can live as if born again. Not forgetting the past, but seeing it in a new way, letting it live inside us in a new way. We go forward with the fresh insights that the past can no longer hurt us. Mindful remembering lets us put the broken bits and pieces of our hearts together again. This is the way healing begins. And so, the part that I really want to focus on within this text is where it says, no matter what has happened to us in our past, when we open our hearts to love, we can live as if we are born again, not forgetting the past, but seeing it in a new way, letting it live inside of us in a new way. That live inside of us is a new way is the stories that we tell ourselves about what has happened to us. It's the stories that keeps us stuck and rooted in our past. And so as we start to talk about codependency and healing ourselves right away, I can see that the biggest thing for us is going to be doing mindful remembering, going back and reviewing the past. And that is honestly the blessing that I have of Honestly Sis. Going back and reading that letter, I didn't even realize that what I was expressing was codependency. But now that I'm 7 years removed, I can look at that and see that as codependency. And the beauty is, as I was doing that episode, I was able to see, like, oh, wow, like I actually healed this part of myself. I'm no longer codependent. I remember when I first broke up with my ex, I was just so broken and so lonely that at one time I was like, maybe I have a love addiction. Like I remember literally looking up love addiction circles, and then I did some research and I realized, okay, maybe I don't have a love addiction. But the beautiful thing is that these last 5 years that I spent single, before I was looking at it and I was, I was shamed and I was mad at myself because I took so long to heal and to overcome the breakup from my ex. But now I can actually see that I didn't just take this time to be single because I was mourning him, but I was really truly taking the time to heal myself and to overcome toxic habits like codependency. That's the other thing that I want to really harp on about codependency is that it is a learned behavior. And if it is a learned behavior, then that means you can unlearn it as well. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go into our notes for the universe. All right, so let's dive into this. Our reading on codependency. What do we need to know about codependency? Dear God, guardian angels, and ancestors, can you please teach us how to heal codependency? Can you teach us how to love in a new way so that we can look at our past and with new eyes and and allow the toxic stories of the past to fall away? How can we allow our past to live within us in a new way so that we can heal codependency? A lot of room for dark confusion in me or the listener's mind. 3 cards only, God. What do we need to focus on? Okay, gonna do the top. What would you do for love? The middle. Everyone is doing their best. I mean, the bottom and then the middle. Cutting it open. Don't be misled. All right. So, what do we need to focus on? And what you give will come back to you. And so, for some reason, with this message right underneath it all, what you give will come back to you. I feel like that is so important for those people who have been abused in love and who has had their love taken advantage of. A lot of us, when we have been abused or hurt in love, we shut ourselves down for love and we don't realize that's actually allowing that person to win, because now you're no longer allowing yourself to be available for the person who could heal you. And so with this message of what you give will come back to you, our ancestors, guardian angels, and beings of light, they really want us to know that whatever you put out there, it's going to come back to you. And so if you were loving somebody in a very pure way and you only wanted the best for them and you only wanted to grow with them and to be with them, and that person took took advantage of your love. If you allow yourself to actually heal and to overcome that, you would get a love that is greater than your imagination. I think a lot of us, at least let me speak for myself, I know I stayed stuck in wanting my past relationship because I just couldn't believe that somebody would love me like him again. I didn't believe that I could experience that level of love again, but you have to understand that even that thought alone is a limiting belief. You have to believe that if you could manifest that person, no matter how amazing they were, or no matter how toxic they were, no matter whatever it was, if you can manifest that love that broke your heart so greatly in a place where you were unaware, what could you manifest when you are naturally healed and intentionally calling love in? Think about it from that point of view. Okay. And I also want to go back to that message of the people who have been used and abused in love, and you are holding your heart, you locked your heart down, that these people win because you can't let love in. That's why that message says when you allow love to come in, you will become born again. And all of the messages from the past, it can live in you in another way. That means that that solid hole, that hardness that you have in your heart, it can loosen when you allow yourself to truly believe that that person was a lesson. See, I have come to believe that our partners are our greatest teachers. I believe that relationships, no matter love relationships, family relationships, they are bought to teach us something. This earth school is nothing but a great learning exercise. And so I don't know what that person may have done for you, but the fact that you was block your heart off and not allow yourself to heal, you're not getting the lessons. You're not allowing yourself to completely go through the cycle. I do believe that a part of the cycle of love is for you to get your heart broken. I do believe that we have two soulmates. I believe it's the lower vibration soulmate, and I believe it's the higher vibration soulmate. And I believe your lower vibration soulmate, and that's not to say that they're good or bad, but the lower vibration soulmate comes into your life to allow you to heal and to grow and to evolve and to ascend to levels so that you can meet your true mate. See, what I can say without a shadow of a doubt is that if I did not go through those 7 to 10 years with my ex, I would not be the person I am today. I probably still will be looking for people to heal me and to save me in relationships. But I got into the relationship that I thought was the one. I got my heart broken. I didn't have the kids. I didn't get married. I didn't get all those things that I want. And I cannot be more grateful for it. Because now the version of love that I want to be is 10 times greater than what I had before. The mother that I could be is so much different because of the heartbreak. I've said it before. I think I've already did a podcast episode on this. What if the heartbreak was the blessing? You don't get to get the blessing of the heartbreak if you just stay stuck on the pain. You can't get what you give. You can't get that back to you if you stay stuck in the negative. What would you do for love? What would you do for love? You tried everything, but you won't give up. What you won't do for love. That's the problem. That's the problem right there. You won't do shit for love. I don't know. Maybe, you know what? It's Disney. Thank God Disney has changed their formula. Thank God Disney has changed their formula about love stories and all of those things with kids, because the problem is we think love is supposed to be easy. We really genuinely think that love is just a matter of finding that person who likes us or who's fine enough and who can fuck us good enough. And maybe we can have 2 or 3 good conversations and then, happily ever after. It's supposed to just happen. If you are still thinking that way at the age of 30, baby, I need you to grow up. Because love is so much different than a matter of what you look like, what your skin color is, what your bank account is. Love, if you really trying to do this thing right, love is two whole souls coming together. Matter of fact, thanks to the great Bell Hooks, we have a definition for love. Let me go get this definition for love. Because we need to walk through this today. I was in my mid-20s when I first learned to understand. Again, I'm reading from All About Love by Bell Hooks. We're in the Clarity, page 10. If you have it, pull it on out. I swear I want to do a book club on this. If you're interested in really sitting and going through these chapters and really understanding and learning from Bell Hooks, please let me know. Send me an email at honestlysis@gmail.com. I would love to know. Um, I would get on it. We will have that book club. Even if it's just the 2 or 3 of us, we will do it. Okay. So just let me know if you are interested in that. But anyways, back to the text. I was in my mid-20s when I first learned to understand love as the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another spiritual growth. Let me read this again. As the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or another growth. So that means, with that pure definition alone, is that love is supposed to be, and matter of fact, I also learned this when we were doing our codependency, when I was doing all my research for codependency. Let me pull that up as well. We pulling it all up. I mean, because we gonna learn today. We gonna learn about love. And I think that, again, the what won't you do for love, the problem is that we are willing to make vision boards for our future. We are willing to, do all of this stuff to help ourselves materially, even spiritually, physically. But what are you willing to do for love? Are you putting as much energy into love as you are putting into every other aspect of your life? And I'm not talking about how often are you going on dating websites. No, you becoming your best self, you learning how to unlearn codependency, that is preparing for your mate. I think we have to get out of this self-love and this, self-care stuff as being, oh, go get your hair done, go get your nails done. No, you need to go do some shadow work. You need to go review your past relationships. You need to figure out, okay, no, really, what broke these relationships up? Where were the pain points? I don't know about you, but I was oh my God, this last Labor Day weekend, I had the honor, I don't even want to say the honor, but I went on this very random ass road trip with my dad and my stepmom. I have known these people my whole life, but I've never just been with, went somewhere with just them two. I mean, we went out to eat, but like not for an extended period of time. And I got to have like a really honest grown woman conversation with my stepmom. Like I got to talk to her, not on some kid to stepmom shit, but just on some real woman to woman stuff. And I got to tell her how I felt about some things, and I got to apologize about some things. And the beautiful thing is, like, when I was apologizing, she was like, I don't even need that because you are a child. You are my child. I don't ever look at anything you do as, like, I don't take it to heart. Like, you're just learning and you are growing. But I say that to say that we had this conversation about holidays and just hearing it from her perspective and hearing what my dad was going through when I wasn't able to see, I realized that I was bringing this toxic holiday cycle of, oh, am I going to be with this person? Like, it was like this cycle that I had from my childhood about holidays. Will I be with my dad or will I be with my mom? They were looking at that as, I think that maybe they thought we were fine, or maybe they thought they're just kids. They're not really, affected by it. But literally that cycle from my childhood manifested in my long-term relationship. And every holiday, like it like clockwork, me and him would have these big ass arguments or something would happen. And it was literally because I was bringing my childhood shit into the relationship. And so when I talk about, doing your work, that's doing your work. You can't constantly be living in a space where it's everybody else's fault but you. Everybody did you wrong but you. Like young thug. Like everything. It's the CEO fault. It's the fucking phone company fault. It's everybody's fault but his. It's like until you learn to take accountability for your life, you're never going to grow. You're never going to be the person you ultimately want to be. And so when it comes to this, what would you do for love? You have to ask yourself, are you willing to change? If you've been in this cycle of unrequited love, that again, let me give you the definition of codependency. In a codependent relationship, there tends to be a severe imbalance of power. Often one person may be giving much more time and energy to focus on the other person, who subconsciously or unconsciously take advantage of the situation in order to maximize their needs. And so if we go back from that example of codependency, and then we use this example of what love is supposed to be, the will to extend oneself for the purpose of nurturing one's own or one another's spiritual growth. So it means that when you are in a relationship with somebody, is that person also in love with your dreams and willing to help you succeed just as much as you? I'm reading the Kennedy Ryan book, Long Shot. I'm so obsessed with Kennedy Ryan right now, like so obsessed with Kennedy Ryan. And so I'm reading this book and like she's with this like pro NBA player. And of course, it's like kind of a love triangle. And the guy that she's with, I don't want to spoil it for everybody, but her baby daddy is just like, I'm a baller. Like, why do you want to work? Why? And her mom is also from that other, from that type of lifestyle where she like, why do you want to work? You got a baller, you got somebody to take care of you. And this girl is just like, I just want to be, I just want to live my dreams. And the guy that's trying to get her, he was like, I want to be with you and I want to help you get your dreams just as much as I want to reach my dreams. Do he think the same way? And she couldn't answer. And I think for a lot of us, we can't answer that question because we, especially as Black women, has been taught to over and over to sacrifice ourselves and to do all of this stuff for love. But thank God we are in the era of Tracy Ellis Ross and we don't have to settle for that bullshit no more. We're from the era of Tracy Ellis Roth and Candy Burris. Like, I truly believe that in order to be fulfilled, in order to truly be a good mom, it's like you have to be fulfilled as well as a human being. And a part of being fulfilled as a human being is feeling as though you're living in your purpose, and your purpose can't be somebody else's life. I had another quote. I'm pulling them all up. I'm pulling them all up, and then I'm gonna stop after this. I don't think I've ever went back to went back to my research so much. But there was another quote: "A life lived for someone else will not do much to fulfill you. You will also find it much easier to offer support when you prioritize your own needs." And so we go back. What would you do for love? Are you doing everything for love? Are you wanting love so much that you're putting other people's needs above your own? Then that may be a quote, that may be an alert that you are being codependent. It is okay for you to say, okay, if you're single, okay, I'm going to take this time to learn myself, to love on myself, to heal these relationship patterns. Fine. Do that for love. That's okay. But if you are, on the other hand, going into all these relationships, camouflaging, being a chameleon, coming whatever that person want to be, putting that person's needs above your own, so much to the point that you are losing yourself in every relationship, that's when you're going the wrong way. That's the codependency, okay? Don't be misled right here in the middle. There's something about with this message of don't be misled. I do believe that we're saying the would you do for love? Yes, it is okay for us to acknowledge that we want love. Yes, it is okay for us to prioritize us getting love. So that means whether, every night we're, going out so that we can meet somebody, we're getting on a dating app. That's fine. That is fine. It's okay to prioritize it. But the don't be misled is when you make it your complete personality. Having a mate, being married is not an accomplishment. And I'm saying this to myself, I have to say this to myself so that I can get this in my bones, because we've been fed this so much as a Black woman that it's like, you're single, you ain't shit. If you're single, you ain't shit, So it's like, oh my God, I'm single, oh my God, baby, I ain't shit. But it's like, the reality is, you don't get a gold token for being married. Anybody can be married. For real, for real. Anybody can find somebody to marry them. And so The don't be misled part is that, yes, it is okay to want love. Yes, it is very natural to want love. Yes, it is okay to work for love and to become a better person so that you can be a better partner for love. All of those things are great. But it becomes where your whole identity is about love, where you are jumping from partner to partner because you can't even fathom the idea of being alone, where you are literally unable to identify your own like needs and hobbies because you become just whatever your partner is. That's where we get into the dangerous territory of love. Last thing, everyone is doing their best. I believe this card is coming out because we are living in this day and age where we have learned the terms, narcissist and, psychopath. And I think we start using these terms in our daily life to describe how people are treating us. And I don't know about you, but I follow, I do a lot of, on YouTube, I watch a lot of psychologists reacts, or I listen to a lot of those breakdown from therapists. And pretty much about 98% of the psychologists that I follow or I watch, they say that us as a society or us as a community, we don't understand what narcissism is. And when we're labeling people, we're not labeling it correctly. And so I say that just because your boyfriend or your partner is very self-involved, it does not make them a narcissist. If he's 20 years old and he's very focused on himself and his dreams, kind of feel like that's what he's supposed to be doing. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't make him a narcissist. And so I think, again, the energy that I'm getting is that we have to, instead of projecting constantly about, oh, this person isn't giving this to me, or this person isn't, catering to my needs in a certain way, then that means that they're a bad person. No, a good part about relationships that we have to, I really want us to ingrain this in our mind, tattoo it down, is that it's two people coming together. So that means that that person have his own dreams, schemes, and things that he's going through as well. He has his own path, his own shortcomings, his own insecurities, his own way of looking at the world. And so when it automatically clashes against you, it's not an indictment. It's not like they're doing it to hurt you. They're automatically not a narcissist or a fuck boy. It could just be, bitch, I'm focused on my dreams. Like they could really just be focused on their dreams. And so this idea of everybody is doing what's best for them, what I'm really getting from it is this need to communicate. I think so often is that we'll get into these relationships, and I don't know about you, but maybe I don't know, but it just feels like people are accelerating timelines and like relationship stuff very quickly. I was talking to this girl. I'm bisexual. We are getting to that letter, I'm sure. But I was talking to like this girl for like maybe like a good month. It was just a text relation. Matter of fact, nope, hold on. Before I even go to her, I was talking to this other girl, and it was not even, no lie, 2 weeks. And like the first week, I was telling her, like, we were vibing, everything was good. I'm telling her I don't want anything serious. Like, I'm just really trying to just enjoy life. Like, we're just vibing. And she said she understood that. The next week, it was like when we exchanged phone numbers, like we came off the apps and actually started talking, like it seemed like the minute that I didn't text her, like she had attitude. Like we were talking, like say we talked all day Saturday, all day Friday. Maybe like I got her number Friday night. We talked all day Saturday. Sunday, I was like busy out, doing stuff with my friends. And like I told her that. And so Monday, I don't really like going out. Like, if anybody knows me, I don't like doing a whole bunch of going out. So me going out back to back or me going out Sunday night and having to work is just like, I don't like it. And so my energy was low. And so it was like, but I told her, I was like, look, I'm tired. I'm just trying to get through the day. And then Tuesday, it was a problem. Like, yeah, I just don't feel like you like me. And I'm like, girl, like, I literally have been communicating with you the entire step of the way. Like, what? And then I had that same thing happen, and it happened to me like 2 or 3 times. And I'm just like, I don't have time to be texting all fucking day. Like, I literally have shit I'm doing. Like, I am working towards something. Like, I am very focused on my goals, and everybody's doing the best they're doing. And I think if maybe I could have had conversations, but I was just so turned off because I'm like, it's 2 weeks in, Angel number 4040. Like, you don't know me. Like, why do you feel so entitled to my time? Why do you think I have all fucking day to be texting you? Like, and maybe that's, I don't know, maybe that's arrogant of me, but I'm just noticing that I don't know if it's just social media or what, but it just feels like nobody wants to actually take the time to get to know anybody. And like, instead of communicating, oh, how often do you text? Are you a big texter? Are you, what do your typical work day look like? Do you have time to text? It's like none of those conversations are happening and people are just catching attitudes. It's like, bitch, I don't know you. Like, it's like I'm not invested enough to like go back and forth. Like, I don't know you. Maybe that's bad. Maybe I need to, do some work. Maybe I haven't met nobody I really like, but it's just like that has been blowing my mind lately. And so, okay, what would you do for love? We're gonna go into the tarot portion of this reading. All right, so what would you do for love? Don't be misled. Everyone is doing their best, and what you give will come back. That is so important. And so, with the what you would do for love, don't be misled. Everyone is doing their best. It just speaks about the need to do the work for love, to be willing to devote time for love, but not making it to where that becomes our whole life. Also, with that, what you give comes back is letting you know that the universe sees you. If in your heart and soul, you have done the work, you know why you haven't been in a relationship, and now you're like, okay, I'm ready to experience it. The universe will bring it. Like, everything's going to come back. So just know that. All right. All right. Let's get into this message. Tarot version. I'm not gonna get crazy. I'm not gonna get crazy. It's like that. Mm-hmm. 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 Peeking up at me at the bottom of the card. Oh my goodness. My goodness. Oh my goodness. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. Underneath at the bottom of the deck, we got the King of Wands. We're gonna get there. But underneath the King of Wands, what would let me calm down. Because I'm getting excited. I'm getting excited. What you give will come back to you. The King of Wands. King of Wands. I always like to take it back to the Ace of Wands when I see the King of Wands. Because King of Wands symbolizes a journey. And so the Ace of Wands, if you ever recall, and matter of fact, because I'm a very visual person, this is important why you need to make sure that you are following the Honestly Sis YouTube channel. Okay, I can't find okay, I can't find the actual card I'm looking for, but that's okay. That is okay. So we're gonna pretend that this is the Ace of Wands instead of this is actually, or if you're watching this live, I'm actually showing the Ace of Swords, but I want you to just look at just the context of it. The whole thing about the wands is it is with like a wand coming out of a cloud, and so it's basically this idea that seemingly came out of nowhere and there's a hand taking it. And so you took this idea that seemingly came out of nowhere and you worked from the Ace of Wands all the way to the Ten of Wands. That means you did all of the little steps that you need to do. Then you did the Page of Wands, so which means you really learned how to wield your power. You became the Queen of Wands, which means that you learn how to work over your craft, where you remember to actually manifest things into your life, and then you became the King of Wands. And so this King of Wand energy means that you completely have mastered this ability to take, and maybe fuck it, Imma say mastered. Yeah, you mastered the ability to take this random idea from seemingly nowhere and literally manifest it into your reality, right? Some of you did this on a work level. How does this look in real life? In a practical sense, what this looks like is laying on a yoga mat, taking a yoga class, saying to yourself, I would love to make people feel this way. Going to a yoga teacher training, becoming actually taking the yoga teacher training, it not really working out, falling out. That's the 5 of Wands. Falling out, moving away from that original studio. That's the 6 of Wands. 7 of Wands, still sticking from still doing your daily practice. Now you have the mindset. Now you know, well, this would be nice. I did go through the process. I have the tools. I'm technically capable of becoming a yoga teacher, but I don't have the space. Going to a healing circle, speaking out loud about you not wanting to have your heart, you not wanting to allow the things from your past to harden your heart, and then the owner of the yoga studio offering you your own class. That is what that looks like. Now you say, well, Amber, you were talking about a yoga class. Well, if you could do it in one area in your life, you can do it in another. And that's what so many of you are forgetting. That's what you give will come back to you. See, if you've already manifested something like that in your life, something where you took it from the ethers, from a thought process, and then it randomly, magically appeared into your life in the real world, if you can do that for a material need or for a career aspirational need, why don't you think you can do the very exact same thing for love? That's really what it comes down to it. I don't know about you, but why I kind of got out of the YouTube tarot community is that I would follow, especially, I hate to keep harping on this, but especially Black women. I will follow these really good, powerful readers, and they will talk all about, oh, this coming in for your career, or this coming in, this. But the moment they will get love, or if love will even come up in a reading, they'd be like, ugh. Like their whole attitude would change, or they didn't want to read about love. It was like they believed that God and the universe could deliver them all these material things except for a partner. And I want you to know why you don't think that the universe could do it is because the difference between you materially manifesting something versus you manifesting a person is that the material thing, yes, you do have to be an energetic match, but because so much of the work is like quote unquote outside of yourself, I think a lot of us can wrap our mind around, oh, I can do this, I can detach from it. But because we want that love so much, and because in order to get that love, you actually have to do the work, that's why you don't get it. You can't trick. It's easy to trick the universe when it comes to things outside of ourselves. I personally don't believe you can trick the universe, but I'm thinking that, this is what these girls are thinking, is that it's easier to trick the universe that way, but you can't trick the universe about your intention, or you can't trick the universe about your heart. And so that's why they didn't focus on that. But I'm telling you that if you can manifest things, or if you've seen things manifest into your life from the ether realm, on a small level, whether it is even manifesting a piece of gum, if you could do that, then that means that you can also do the exact same thing for your love mate and for a partner. So, with that King of Wands, underneath the King of Wands is us learning how to master our ability to manifest things into our life. Is the Wheel of Fortune, the Star card, and the Fool. And so it's like you change your entire cycle when you heal yourself, and when you just go on this unabandoned intention to bring about your dreams. You don't care. The Fool is, she don't have a care in the world. All she can know is that she's going after her dream. Whatever brings the journey, whatever comes along the way, fine. She's willing to deal with it. All that matters is that they're going on a dream. And that's what the universe is saying. I don't need you to be the best person in the world. I actually don't even need you to just focus on it. I just need you to admit that you want love. And then when I start bringing these things about, when I start shining the light on some of your shadow parts, if you do the work and harden your heart and be like, oh, well, I don't really want it like that, You gotta be willing to do the work. What would you do for love? The Magician came out. I feel like this is doubling down on that energy of what you give will come back to you. And so the universe is saying is that as above, so below, what you think about in your mind is what is going to manifest in real life. And so what would you do for love is that's what's going to come. Are you willing to be picky for love? Are you willing to raise your standards? Are you willing to be bold enough to call love in and to decide in your heart you're worthy for love? If you are, and which I feel like a lot of us have done that, then right now it says don't be misled. People are coming up. The Page of Cups is all about learning how to do a skill, learning how to manifest something. A Page of Cups, unexpected blessing, is a fish coming out of a cup. Some people can say, oh, maybe she pulled that cup in the water. Okay, yeah, she poured the cup in the water. Maybe she went into the depth of the emotions. And by her going into the depth of the emotions, haha, surprise, abundance come out. A new idea come out. That's the fish. Fish symbolizes abundance. It symbolizes a new opportunity. And so with this don't be misled is that you have to understand that when you decided already back here in your past that you want love and you're willing to do whatever you have to do to bring that love about, when sometimes you pull up the cup and it's something inside, whether that is an actual partner or whether that is somebody coming into your life shining a light on some of your shadow parts. Last year I decided, okay, well, now I want to be, I don't want to be single anymore. I want to open myself for dating. And I was just allowing myself to just take anybody number. If you asked for my number, I gave you my number. I didn't care. I wasn't picky because my thing was just about, I want to start dating again. I want to get myself out there. And so then I started talking to these guys, and I would talk to them for maybe maybe 1 or 2 days and realize like, oh no. Matter of fact, I would know the minute that I meet them, like, he not really my type, but I didn't want to be picky. I didn't want to do all of that. And so this one time I fucked around and gave somebody my number, and then I saw them out and I tried to act like I didn't know who they were. And they text me and cussed my ass out. And they was like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, just went off on me. Now, I could have took that and been like, "Ooh, ooh, ooh, no." Don't be misled. I could have took that and been like, "Oh, nope, that means I'm not dating. These niggas out here crazy, blah, 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 blah." But I took that as not an indictment about him, but an indictment about myself because it's like, Amber, you knew you didn't want to talk to this guy. You knew he wasn't your type. You knew that this really wasn't going anywhere. You just gave him your number just because you wanted to do it. But you have to realize that people are people. And that's why it's not good to use anybody. Even if it's just like, oh, well, I'm just gonna talk to him to change up my energy, to signal to the universe that no, don't use people. And so I learned from that experience, oh no, no, no. I have to be intentional about who I give my number to so that I don't keep ending up in situations where people are feeling mad at me or feeling played. You see what I'm saying? And also I learned from that, like, again, gave my number away, and I learned that instead of trying to dodge or trying to ghost somebody, just being honest and being like, "Hey, I thought that this, da da da," and instead of somebody cussing me out, the guy was actually like, "Oh no, I respect it. I wish you the best. Let me know when you ready to date again." So you see what I'm saying? What this don't be misled in the Page of Cups coming out is like, you have to understand that just because you set your intention that you want love or you want to find your husband, it doesn't mean the next person that you meet is going to be your husband. No, it's a process, and that person may be a mirror to get you to learn the next step to call in a love that is truly meant for you. Okay. I just really want you to understand that yes, we're manifesting, but we're co-working with the universe. We're working in tandem, and it's very important for us to be clear about our intentions. And so if you did set that intention to have love and you don't get the quote unquote result that you want, it's not saying it's not meant for you. It may just be a lesson that you need to learn. Last but not least, with everything, everyone is doing their best is the Eight of Swords coming out. This is just saying about how we can kind of be our own worst enemies going into relationships and expecting something from them very quickly without having the tough conversations, or asking the person, a quote unquote tough question or saying, "Hey, do you want kids or do you want to be in a relationship?" And then that person says, "No, I don't want to be in a relationship," lying to ourselves and saying, "Oh, well, I don't really need to be in a relationship," and just trying to go along and get along. We have to understand with the what came out with the everyone is doing their best was the 8 of Swords. Sometimes we can be our own worst enemy. Sometimes we can trap ourselves in situations just by our mindset and our belief. That's why it's so important to really have that magician energy and to really know that you can call in whatever you want. And if you're not calling in the right thing, that's what the Page of Cups, then that means that you need to refine it. And maybe it's not even a matter about refine it. Maybe it's something that you don't see. And the universe is saying, okay, yeah, I see that you want this, but I really need you to work on this one thing so that you can be prepared to meet that person. I also want you to understand that I cannot emphasize this enough. We are vibrational beings. And so if you do call in, you say, hey, I want to meet the love of my life by next year. That's a real life. I'm for real. As above, so below. I want to call in the love of my life by next year. And what the universe wants me and you to understand is that yes, I may have set that intention, but who knows if I'm at the vibration of the love of my life. I may have to still have work to do. That's why this magician it's a major arcana. It's not something that happens immediately. It's something that's going to take 6 months to a year, maybe 2 years, maybe 3 years. Like, this is something that you're really working with. You really have to invest in to become a better person. And so you can ask for your soulmate. You can ask for the love of your life. You can ask for the person who was meant and specially designed for you, if that's your prayer. And if that is, then that means that there are certain ways that you have to heal, evolve, and ascend in order to get to that person. And so I cannot stress this enough is that if you set that intention or if you made that vision board or you wrote that letter and then the next person that came in wasn't what you wanted or it wasn't a good experience, instead of taking it as an indictment that you can't manifest the love that you want, use it as a learning experience so that you can move on and get the love that is truly meant for you. Okay? Give us just one tool that we can use to really understand how to heal this codependent energy. How can we really focus on ourselves, focus on our intention? How can we allow ourselves to see potential mates as a learning exercise? Allow no room for doubt or confusion in our minds so that we don't trap ourselves and tie ourselves down. One tool. We got two. Okay. Ooh, and these are two good ones. I can get from an unwanted relationship to a wanted relationship. Again, with the magician going from the 8 of Swords. The reason why I want you to understand why this 8 of Swords is here. The 8 of Swords is going to be here in your future position if you do not learn how to control your energy, if you do not learn the power of your words. Here we go. It's all about three things coming into alignment: your thoughts, your words, and your deeds. Your thoughts, words, deeds create your actions in the world. And that is how you manifest things into your life. And so if you have to get rid of these limiting beliefs. You have to believe that everyone is doing their best. Nobody is personally coming out to hurt you. That's where that comes back to that don't be misled portion. You have to look at people as though they are exercise. As you walk away from one unpleasant situation, the law of attraction will bring in another that feels very much like it, and usually quickly. Going into this Page of Cups. Okay, so you've been through a bad relationship. You say you want another. The universe is going to bring in another one very quickly. You just cannot get from there to there. To get where you want to be, to that place of feeling better, you have to reach for alignment between you and you. That's why the magician card came out. Getting yourself feeling good before you take action is always the best process. For when you do not feel good, you cannot be inspired to take any action that will solve the problem. So again, what would you do for love? Let's go back to here. It says, getting yourself feeling good. It says, yeah, getting yourself feeling good before you take action is always the best process. For when you do not feel good, you cannot be inspired to take any action that will solve the problem. Why is that important? What would you do for love? The problem is a lot of you guys are going into relationships. You're seeking relationships, not from this point of view of, oh, this would be great if this person come into my life, but it is coming from this very negative place of, oh, I'm going to teach this motherfucker. I'm going to show him this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to show him that I'm this. It's all from a negative place, or I gotta hurry up and get over it. The best way to get over somebody is to get under somebody else to show that they ain't got me like this. Again, with your heart closed. You can't do it. You can't do it from a negative mindset. If you do it from a negative mindset, all you're gonna do is just keep getting in there. You're just gonna just keep getting the same thing. You're gonna keep being in the exact same cycle. That's why it says it's so important. It says as you walk away from one unpleasant situation, the universe will bring in another very much like that one. So that's why people who jump from relationship to relationship, you don't ever feel healed. You don't ever feel whole because you're never actually healing anything. You're just going from one bad relationship to another bad relationship to another because you're not taking the time to learn and to recognize your pattern. But if you become the magician of your life and you experience this bad relationships and you learn how to transmute it, and you re-enter the dating world, not from this place of I need somebody, not from a codependent place of I need somebody to fulfill me, but I would like to have somebody to experience life with me. Listen to how different is that. I want to be in a relationship not for somebody to fulfill me, but for somebody to experience life with me. Then that's where you start to call in the soulmates. That's where you get to get in. It says right here, getting yourself feeling good before you take action is always the best process. For when you do not feel good, you cannot be inspired to take any action that will solve the problem. And the reason why you can't do that is because the solution and the problem is at two different frequencies. And so if you don't ever take the time to love and heal yourself, then you will never be able to get on the frequency of the solution of the love of your life. Because you just keep jumping from one bad relationship to the next bad relationship without healing the codependent issues that got you in a bad relationship in the first place. So that's why it's so important to heal your codependent ways, because if not, it's just going to keep you in this hamster wheel, and this cycle of you looking for somebody else to heal and complete you when nobody can do that but you. I intend to co-create from my place of positive attraction. The individual creators who are coming together must be in a place of positive attraction before they can come together, or nothing positive can come from it. This is oh my God, this is literally showing a lot of you guys why you are in a toxic cycle, because you're going into the relationship unhealed, unwhole, not even recognizing the issues of your past. You're hopping from relationship to relationship. And so you're meeting the same exact energy, just in a different body form, wondering why you can't get the love that you want. And the reason why you can't get the love that you want is because he's in a positive frequency, in this higher vibration frequency, and you down here jumping from niggas to nigga. The individual creators who are coming together must be in a place of positive attraction before they can come together, or nothing positive can come out of the co-creation. If you are negatively focused and not feeling good, you can only attract others who are in the same negative attraction. Let me say that again. So if you are calling in love, but you have not done any healing, you have not done any reviewing of your past, you just like, Fuck it, I just cannot be alone, then guess what? You're gonna call in love, but it's gonna be the same toxic pattern over and over again. That is why looking for a mate from a place of insecurity or lack of anything can never bring you the mate you really want. But instead, it will bring you the one who amplifies your current lack. It's going to always bring in the lower vibrational mate, and it's bringing in a lower vibrational mate because it's the mirror to show you your shadows so you can heal to get the mate that you really want. I will focus on what I do want in relationships. By focusing on the wanted characteristics of those around you, you train your vibrational offering to match only the best in them. And then the law of attraction can no longer match you with the worst of anything. When you focus upon the worst of them, you train your vibrational offering to match only the worst of them. And the law of attraction can no longer meet you can the best. This is why you have to see the best in everybody. You constantly going into every situation unhealed, not going, relationship hopping, and going into every situation looking for the other shoe to fall, looking for this person to disappoint you, looking to show, oh, see, this nigga ain't trustworthy. You're going to get it every single time because of the law of the universe, because that's what you expect and that's what you're looking for. That is why it is so important to take the time out to heal, to learn yourself, to feel good about yourself without somebody else. I didn't realize it, but thank God, the blessing of my ex is that our love was at such a level that I can't not have anything lower than that. I have to have somebody meet me there. I have to have somebody to make me feel that. And because I have not experienced that, I have not allowed myself to be in a relationship like that. I have not settled. And at first, I really thought, oh, well, maybe I'm scared of love. Maybe But this year, with me actually dating, with me actually meeting a guy who took me out on dates, who planned dates for me, who cooked me dinner, who was literally the sweetest guy in the world, but then I had to tell myself that just because he's the sweetest guy and the nicest guy don't mean he's my guy. Amber 10 years ago would have held on to that motherfucker, would have married him, would have had his babies because I just had to prove that I was in love. I just had to show it. But I knew that that wasn't right for him or me. And so I released him. A perfectly good guy. And I would see him and I would talk to him and I would have to convince Amber, just because he's nice, it does not mean he's supposed to be your man. And that is what it means to have an abundant mindset. That is what it means when you have this mindset of, oh, nobody else can be like my ex or nobody else. That is a scarcity mindset. That is a limiting belief, and that's when you need to go do the work. But when you can look at somebody and they can have everything on your list or they could do everything you thought that you want and you still don't feel those butterflies, and instead of convincing yourself, oh, I don't really need to feel a butterfly, I don't really need to feel that way, but you say, you know what, thank you, universe, for this. I'm going to release this to get the next thing. That's when you start moving into mastery. That's when you become the king of wands of your life, okay? All right, last message. I'm just really enjoying this message. I feel like we're healing so much here, and I just really hope that you guys are getting it and understanding it. But I think this is just so beautiful that the universe is literally showing us that we can heal codependency. You can go from an unwanted to a wanted relationship. And it says right here, the key is getting yourself feeling good. Getting yourself feeling good before you take action is the best process. For when you do not feel good, you cannot take any action. It's telling us why it's important to take the time to heal, to love on ourselves. It says, I intend to co-create from a place of positive attraction. This tells us that we can't meet the love of our life if we not in love with our life. You can't be looking for somebody to feel the hole in your heart. You can't be looking for somebody to save you. And then you get mad when they just break you down. The universe, he's bringing this to break you down so that you can save yourself. Nobody's going to save you but you. And when you focus on the best of people and you focus on what you do want, that's really doing the work. When you start looking at these people coming into your lives as many exercises or many trials to get you to the love of your life, then you will stop taking the heartbreak or the guy that didn't really work out so personal. Because it's not personal at all. It's just energy. This person has come to teach you something about yourself. That the guy, the very nice guy, taught me that same lesson. Like, I have to learn that you can't use people just for sex. You can't, I hope he give me good head, so I'm gonna keep fucking with. No, people are human. And then you can't be mad at somebody go around and try to use you for the same exact thing. That's another thing. If you really genuinely want a love relationship, it is not about using somebody. It is about two people, two whole individuals coming together to support each other on their journey. Nobody in a healthy relationship, nobody is suffering. The tails are not skilled. Nobody is compromising beyond themselves. Okay. All right. Last message. Okay, we're gonna do the bottom. Rejection. Middle. Isolation. On top. Vanity. Mm. That vanity and isolation those were both throat chakra cards, and there's something and that came out again with the 8 of swords about the future. You got to change your attention. You need to go back and change your intention. You have to get really, really disciplined about how you speak over your love life. You have to be very, very mindful about, yeah, how you speak over your love life, how you speak about yourself, how you speak about dating, how you speak about this time of you being single, because all of that is casting spells and casting energy out on the type of life that you're going to live. And also with this card of vanity coming out, there's something about like some of you are not willing to, the reason why you don't want to do the work of being single is because you don't want to look like you're single, or you don't want to look, again, you have to. Nobody's gonna live your life for you. Nobody's gonna die your death, and nobody's gonna live your life. And so you have to stop worrying about how your life looks to other people. It's very important for you to get clear about what you want to experience in your life and do whatever is necessary to get you there. I remember I didn't realize it, but because I am of a certain age and I would always go around my family members and they would talk about, oh, when you gonna get married or when you gonna do this and da da da. And thankfully, my dad like realized like why I'm so sensitive about that, because I lost whatever. I didn't have a child. And so he stopped doing that. And now we don't have those conversations, or when we talk about it, I'm bringing it up and I'm excited, or I'm saying, oh, well, I can't wait till I have a kid for such and such. You see what I'm saying? I didn't realize it, but subconsciously I stopped going around because I was afraid of that. But then when I, kind of talked to my guardian angels and ancestors and just was like, please help them understand like why this hurts me so bad, they helped. Again, as above, so below. Our family member, Black people are praying people for a reason. You have to ask for help, even on things that's as small or you think minute as, hey, I don't like when my family members are always asking me when I'm gonna get married or when I'm gonna have a baby. Like, it's hurtful. I want to get married. I want to have a baby. And I don't want to constantly have people asking me when it's gonna happen. Like, I can marry myself or procreate by myself. And so, as telling your ancestors, to help you move past that, they can do it. They can help you. And they can help you move on. And I think a lot of us need to hear that, because for somebody I'm talking to, you are isolating yourself because you don't want to have those conversations. But just, send a prayer up to God, ask God to help you move past that. I'm so happy that this rejection card is at the front. First of all, the 7th chakra, this is all about our crown chakra. We reach the place of the universal consciousness, which is outside our physical body. You may notice that these cards represent some aspects of our collective being. The idea here is that we all vibrate through our 7th chakra in a powerful way. It keeps us connected to our humanity. The cards of the seventh chakra are neutral in color because spirit in essence is neutral. I love that this card came out because this is the blockage. The blockage is that you think God is too busy to worry about your love life. You think the universe does not care about your love life when essentially the universe, the guardian angel, everybody, their whole job is to get you to the love of your life because that is how you become the person who you are meant to be. I was meant to say this earlier, but when I was going through my, searching spirituality, I went to a temple, and I experienced like this meditation session. And then we got to ask the monk questions. And I asked them, like, well, how do you find a spiritual teacher? And he said, realistically, your spiritual teacher should be your partner. It should be the person that you marry, because that is the person that's going to hold you accountable to be the best version of yourself. And I think if we can look at love relationships in that way and not just look at it from this vanity point of view or this checking off a bucket list or checking off an item on a list, then we can see it is so much more spiritual and necessary for us to meet our mate. And that is why God and the universe is invested in helping us bring this about. I think a lot of us feel like it's on us to make this a reality when God is like, I never asked that for you. I never asked that of you. I just asked for you to trust me enough to know that I can help you. Here you receive messages from spirit that are detached from human worry. These cards indicate the higher minded thinking that happens when we align with spirit. The power of holding space can be seen in the still energy of each card. Here we see how conscious choice can bring about spiritual magnetism. These are cards of mastery. And so, for some of you, it's a two-parter. For some of you, you're not quite at the mastery level. You have to heal your throat chakra. I'll write that down. I have to write that down. Some of you guys need to heal your throat chakra, and then that will help you be able to see your third eye, and then you can connect to spirit because that's where the crown is. The crown is you downloading messages. The messages come through your third eye. You speak it out of your throat chakra, and then it goes down. You're blocked here. You're blocked in your throat, and I bet you blocked in your heart as well. And so that's why it's so important for you to heal your heart, because if your heart is blocked, then that means that these other three chakras are not working or they're not online. You see what I'm saying? So you can't connect to spirit. You can't, easily manifest because your chakras are not online. That's the best way that I look at the chakra system. I'm sure there's other ways to look at it, but for me, looking at it from that mindset of when you have a blockage and how information is not able, first of all, information is not able to flow. And then that also means that your energy is sporadic and it's not all the way in full alignment. This is really the last message. The ivory tower, rejection. You no longer need to prove yourself. This is about understanding who you are and what you have created. Ivory allows others into your life. Choose wisely. You do not have to be on the inside track. Be true to yourself and you will not be unhappy. Rejection is spirit protection. And so with that vanity card coming up, you don't have to be on the inside track. A lot of you don't want to take the time to heal yourself, to love on yourself because you don't want to appear single. You don't want to appear like that girl that don't have it all together. But you have to understand that you can't heal if you don't actually take that time to take time out of dating to actually heal and love on yourself. And then also with that last message of this rejection is protection, God just wants you to know that that relationship, I said it before, I'll say it again. What if the heartbreak was the blessing? That he's literally breaking that apart so that you can go on this process of learning about love, of healing your codependent ways so that you can call in the love of your life. And that's literally the whole purpose of this reading. The whole purpose of this reading and how we truly heal codependency is by taking the time to love on ourselves, to heal on ourselves, to feel better, to do all of those steps in the recovery so that when we are calling in our love and the love of our life, we can co-create from a place of positive attraction, and that way we can call in the love of our lives. As we are doing this process, it may take time. It may not happen quickly, but if we look at these partners that come in as assignments or as mirrors and look at what they do teach us about love, we will be able to not feel so heartbroken and move more quickly to the love of our lives. Okay. All right, y'all. That is all I have for you. I did not mean to make this reading that long, but I truly, truly feel like this was a very important reading. I learned a lot from it. I feel like I was able to do a lot of mindful remembering, ways for me to really understand how I've healed myself. And I do believe that this was affirmation that I am on the right track. All right, y'all. If you got anything from this podcast, I just ask that you please share it to your favorite social media timeline. You never, never, never know who may come across it and who it may help. If you really, really love this and you are not subscribed to the podcast, please go ahead and subscribe. We will be back next week for another newsletter. I think we're starting to get into the tough newsletter, so we'll see how that goes. And if you have not already rated the podcast, please, please take the time to rate it because it really helps other people find the podcast. 5 stars only. If you're interested in seeing this video or this reading live, make sure that you go ahead to our website at www.honestlysis.com. Click on that tab, free offering, and take you straight to our YouTube page and you can see this video. If you would like to book a personal reading and to dive more into how your throat chakra may be blocked or ways to heal it, you can again do that at www.honestlysis.com. And last but not least, please make sure you join our Honest Society mailing list. That is where you will be able to get all exclusive content, pick a card readings, as well as know when I am going live. All right. All right, y'all. That is all I have for you. I have made it to the end of this episode. As always, until we meet again, dream them dreams. Never let the internet rush you, and never ever let someone tell you what you cannot do. There is only one you, and that is your superpower. All right. All right, friend. Thank you so much for helping my dreams come true. Now get your ass out there and work on your own. Okay. Meet you at the top, friend. Bye bye.